Hello and welcome to Telluride Real Estate News. I'm your host, Robert Stenhammer, broker associate with Telluride Real Estate Corp, Christie's International Realty. And today, I'm going to give you my tips for buying luxury property in Telluride. And I'm also welcoming Telluride Vice President of Mountain Operations, Jeff Proto, to talk about the Telluride Resort's Master Development Plan. With attractive interest rates and real estate prices per square foot still below many comparable mountain towns, now is the perfect time to buy Telluride luxury real estate. The Telluride market is seeing momentum with 16% more transactions and a 9% increase in total dollar volume in 2016 than the previous year. With more convenient air access into the Telluride and Montrose airports than ever before, an exciting master development plan just released by the Telluride Ski and Golf Resort, and world-class alpine winter and summer lifestyle experiences to be had, now is the time to make a run at your Telluride luxury property. Here are my tips. First of all, make a list of your objectives. Now, these questions are your preferred number of bedrooms and your budget, your intended use of the property, the location that you prefer, access, and the amenities that you are looking for. Your real estate broker will guide you through this process. Speaking of which, engaging the right real estate broker who knows the Telluride luxury market is the best bet for finding properties that are for sale, but that are not necessarily easy to find because of the owner's privacy concerns. An agent familiar with the Telluride market may have inside information about listings before they are listed for sale, and the agent will be able to help you determine the market value of a luxury property you want to make an offer on. Most residential real estate is valued using market comparables. These are similar properties in the area that have recently sold. Valuing Telluride luxury properties can be a challenge since there are many tangibles and intangibles of a luxury home. Now, if you're going to finance your luxury property, it's a good idea to obtain your financing approval early in the process. Some property owners may not even want to show their property to yet unqualified buyers. Next, consult your tax attorney on the options you have to properly structure ownership of your property to your advantage. Some options include to hold your property in your personal name, in a corporation, or in a trust. There may be additional tax advantages if you are renting your property while you are not using it. Be sure to use your real estate agent to schedule a property inspection with an inspector who knows the special amenities these homes often contain. Ice melt systems, radiant heat, lighting, specialized mechanical systems, and the roof condition for the alpine environment are just a few. I'm available for questions regarding Telluride luxury property. With a careful and informed approach and the right broker to guide you, now is the time to find your perfect Telluride luxury home. Up next, our special guest is Telluride Vice President of Mountain Operations, Jeff Proto, who will be telling us about the Telluride Resort Master Development Plan. Hello and welcome to Telluride Real Estate News. I'm your host, Robert Stenhammer, broker associate with Telluride Real Estate Corp, Christie's International Realty. And our special guest today is Mr. Jeff Proto, Vice President of Mountain Operations for Telluride Ski and Golf Resort. Jeff, welcome.
Thanks, Robert. Nice to be here.
Tell us a little bit about how long you've been in Telluride and kind of how you came to be Vice President of Mountain Operations.
Okay, so I've always been interested in Colorado. I think I grew up in the Midwest and ventured out here to go to school. Went to school a couple of years at Fort Lewis College, and I studied forestry, and eventually moved into Colorado State University, where I studied landscape architecture. As part of that, I ended up in Steamboat Springs, Colorado, where I practiced landscape architecture, worked for a large design build firm. And we were, through kind of after being there for a number of years, I ended up in Telluride on a project for that company.
Okay.
And I was working with Ron Allred in the early days of the Mountain Village.
I mean,
and,
you built this place. You were driving
bulldozers.
bulldozers.
Well, no, I was kind of cleaning up behind the guys that were building it. Probably the best way to put it.
Gotcha.
So I was putting the finish on, my
Mhm.
background being in landscape architecture, and then as we came into the village, there became more hardscape and planning. But as part of that, I got involved with the skier expansion. Terry Fernald was the mountain manager at that time, and I got involved in skier expansion and kind of from the environmental planning standpoint, working with the agencies to get necessary permits and help lay things out so that we could avoid impacts and that kind of thing, to get through the environmental analysis process with the Forest Service. And after that was completed, I moved from working from planning into operations.
Okay.
And I've been doing mountain operations and planning now for over 20 years. So.
Your job has a tremendous amount of dynamics and moving parts, and a lot to look after. But what does a typical day look like as the vice president of mountain operations?
Well, I depend a lot on the directors and the managers that work in mountain operations. So I just get to the office and turn on my radio, essentially, and monitor what's going on. We can scan all channels, so there's a number of different departments at any given time working on the mountain. Ski patrol, especially in snow mornings, it's good to listen to kind of hear how we're coming along on terrain that we want to open, and that making sure that everyone's just operating in a safe mode, supporting the team. My thing is to support these folks. They really know what they're doing.
Awesome.
And so I monitor what's going on with lifts, and anytime I need to maybe help with a decision,
sure,
I'll get involved in helping make a decision on things. And usually it's based on being safe. What's the safest way to approach it. So
excellent. So Jeff, as part of your role, the resort has recently published a master development plan. And it's been a while since the resort's published a master development plan. And I know you were the point person on that. Tell us a little bit about the master development plan. What is it exactly?
Okay. So yeah, it's been about 19 years since we've had a master development plan. The master development plan is a guide, a vision from the operator of the ski resort, so Telluride Ski and Golf, that we compile so that we can share with the Forest Service and the public what our vision is for the next 5 to 15 years. It's a document that we look at to help us understand kind of what our current comfortable carrying capacity is at the resort. As we grow in numbers and certain lifts start to become bottlenecks, or they're just under capacity, we learn from that, and this master development plan helps us analyze that and make decisions. And part of the master development plan will be to put upgrades, so whether it's upgrading lifts, whether it's upgrading the snowmaking system, whether it's upgrading some of the terrain, or whether providing additional terrain through glading or trails, those are all included in there. And the key for the Forest Service is they now have a document that can show these things together cumulatively, so that when we ask to do a project, if we decide we want to build, as an example, and one of the things that's included in this master development plan are summer projects.
Yes.
If we want to include a bike trail, we won't just look at that bike trail. We'll look at everything that's proposed in the master development plan in the general landscape feature, large-scale landscape feature, where the trail's being built, so they can look at the total cumulative impact of the environmental impacts as opposed to just basically piecemealing one project at a time.
I know the plan is, at least for now, available on Telluride skiresort.com, and I know that you have done several community sessions with both town councils and the county commissioners, and public workshops. And what's the public telling you about the plan so far?
I think that the majority, it's a positive feedback. There's a lot of lift replacements in there, and I think that you can look at the lifts two ways here. And one is they're old and they're unique, and they operate, they work well. We're monitored by the Colorado Passenger Tramway Safety Commission, so all lifts are safe. But having said that, lifts like Chair 9, Chair 7,
vintage Colorado lifts.
They're vintage Colorado lifts, and I like to look at lifts as how reliable are they, and how much frustration is there, to ride that lift. And if we find that some lifts are getting a lot of stops, or they're not running at the capacity that we would like, we want to look at upgrading those. So, the difference between a fixed grip lift and a detached quad lift or a detached lift is the rope speed on a fixed grip is 500 feet per minute, and with a detached, it's 1,000 feet per minute.
Wow.
So it's twice as fast.
Double, yeah.
It's twice as fast to get up the hill. Now your capacity is going to be based on how many chairs you put on, so you can tweak your capacity based on how you want to have the uphill capacity increased incrementally. So anyway, the point being, I think that we need to look at some of the lifts that get lift lines now, which we don't really like here. And like if I could clear lift 9 yesterday in 5 minutes as opposed to 10 minutes, I think that would be a big deal for us. I mean, it's just one of those things where we want to be able to carry the flow of the mountain real well and kind of maintain that comfort level that we have currently.
Fantastic, and it's very exciting to see the resort, thinking about these big capital projects, which will, really increase the value of the guest experience, the owner experience, and hopefully property values as well as we mature and grow.
Sure.
Jeff, let's talk a little bit about summer.
Right.
And give us a little insight in the master development plan. What are our plans for the summertime, which has an incredible amount of momentum in the mountain tourism industry across the board?
Yeah. So the Forest Service has looked at things differently over the last 3 to 5 years, where they allow you now to operate summer activities in your permit area and a wider variety of things. So we've kind of looked at what fits best in Telluride, and we really feel that mountain bike flow trails, which is not really a downhill trail, not really a cross-country trail. It's kind of a hybrid of the two.
Flow.
And they're built in a way that is environmentally sustainable. They're built in a way that they're very rideable with a broad range of folks, whether it's the multi-generational groups that we like to see here with the grandparents, with their grandkids, all riding their bikes. So we're looking at everything from beginner trails to expert trails. We still have plenty of steeps, and we still have plenty of extreme around here, but we have to work a little harder with the more kind of beginner type things. So we're going to be adding bike trails. We're going to be adding canopy tours. Everything based out of the Lift 4 area here. The terrain in this area is really best for that, and it also lands at the base of the village here. So canopy tours are something that we look as providing another activity that people can enjoy when they come to visit Telluride, and those are the two main things. We're also looking at putting a large adventure course where you can challenge course, an aerial trekking park kind of thing here at the base of the lift. But those are the main things, and I think that the bike trails are a big focus for us because we believe that we could provide a destination type biking experience.
Fantastic, and I know that Telluride can feel real busy in the summer, and it feels less busy in the winter, but that's because so many people are actually enjoying the mountain experience. So I think what you're saying is it's going to put a lot of people in the summertime up on the mountain.
Right. It's not like events that bring a lot of people to the same area all at the same time. It kind of spreads people out. It's an activity that people will come to enjoy throughout the week, various days of the week. It's a different kind of summer economy for us that. Of course, we have great fly fishing here, and we have other great rafting and great things that all the outdoor recreation retailers provide here. But these are just some things that we can add to that will help, make the vacation, have more variety for the vacation, and some things that are right here based in the village, out of the village.
I feel like one of the things that the Telluride is absolutely known for is world-class on-mountain dining. And the master development plan covers a little bit of food and beverage on the mountain. Can you give us any insight on what we're thinking?
Yeah, we've always had food and beverage as part of our original approvals that happened when we back in 2000 we did a master development plan and had our environmental impact statement done. So restaurants were approved at top of Lift 5 with a large capacity. We've only utilized some of that, which is what now we have is Bon Vivant. We want to expand that to potentially 150, 200 seats.
Nice. Would that have an indoor component, do you think?
That's the main thing right
yeah.
now, is to have an indoor component that could be more reliable for our employees who work
Sure.
up there. Better facilities to provide,
Larger kitchen.
Things like that, and so that we can serve more and still keep the quality high.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. One of the other things that were approved in the past is a restaurant at the top of Lift 10. I think that Lift 10 is another highly, there's a lot of potential there with the upgrade of the lift and putting a restaurant at the top. A lot of kids ski up there, a lot of ski school skis up there, so we would have it geared more towards that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Families, so there's potential for building a restaurant there that we're excited about. Upgrading Giuseppe's. I know that people love Giuseppe's the way it is, but and we're not expecting to do anything substantially different up there. We'll still have
Keep the
something
vibe.
that keeps a nice, comfortable vibe, local vibe. But we do, again, need to improve the facilities there, the kitchen facilities, the food storage facilities. So all those things will be upgraded to help the capacity of the existing ski area. And the food and beverages you mentioned is very important to us as well.
Indeed. So we've submitted the master development plan and we've gone through public comment. What happens from here?
So it's interesting because yesterday we closed public comment. We had public comment on our website for a month. And by then we had already met with all the town councils. We had already met with the county commissioners. We met with Sheep Mountain Alliance, some of the local stakeholders here that keep an eye on how we work on public land. So that now has been closed, and I'm going to submit with a letter to the Forest Service a request for acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't approve anything, and I think that's an important thing for folks to understand, is it doesn't really approve anything. They just accept it. It's a document that we use as a guide, and then when we start our next step and we want to do any of these projects, we'll have to do a scoping notice. The Forest Service will, and they'll go through a complete public process with a lot more detail for any of those given projects that we do.
Are they looking at environmental
Yeah,
impacts?
it's primarily environmental impacts, archaeological, whether there's any disruption to anything that might be something that wants to be preserved.
Mm-hmm.
It's on federal land, so it's the NEPA process, the National Environmental Policy Act, which requires you go through this process. And we'll propose the project,
Mm-hmm.
we'll propose what we want to do, and then the Forest Service will work in the environmental consultants to do the environmental analysis. We'll be hands-off when it comes to that. Then we'll get a decision, and once we get a decision, then we'll be able to move forward or not, depending on the decision.
Okay. Well, Jeff, thank you for what you and your team do to provide
Sure.
us an incredible mountain experience here at Telluride Ski and Golf Resort. I'm Robert Stenhammer, your host of Telluride Real Estate News, broker associate with Telluride Real Estate Corp. Christie's International Realty. My special guest today has been Jeff Proto, Vice President of Mountain Operations for Telluride Ski and Golf Resort. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you. Enjoyed it.